All right, we're away. So thanks everyone for coming. Does everyone kind of know everyone here? Um, uh, Beck Morley, who most of you probably do know and remember, isn't able to join us this morning from Destination North Coast. She's got her own three large council areas to support through the virtual site inspection process. So today you have myself and Simon from the Bakery Media, who I'm sure again you all have met and know. He's been instrumental in this process. So I want to quickly scoot through, and Simon, please do jump in. I know I miss things from time to time, so yeah, by all means jump in and correct me when my terminology is not right and the like. But we started this process probably about 6 weeks ago. We've had approvals to fund these virtual site inspections, and they serve a very, very interesting purpose perhaps in a gap in our collateral structures, where many of the organisations, those that have the funding to back it, have been able to produce quite professional productions. And the other end of the scale is kind of snapshots on TikTok and that kind of thing. So this does serve a really fun gap that can piggyback on proposals. It can be used across social media channels. It has quite a wide usage, and from our perspective, we will be rolling out a series of these across our own YouTube and LinkedIn channels to keep the focus always on Destination North Coast. We've been very lucky to have been allowed to keep going throughout this time while coronavirus has shut so many of our stakeholders down. So we're definitely trying to make use of that time and support everyone as best we can. So I want to quickly go, first of all, to the prototype that we prepared with Southern Cross Uni. I'm going to share screen. Shout if you can't hear or see, but here we go. First of all, Southern Cross Uni and sharing computer sound. I won't expand this, and now I just should preface it by saying on Zoom you're getting quite a few less frames per second. So when you download this or view it on your own computer screens, it'll obviously be at considerably higher quality. But anyway, let's quickly scoot across. This was produced by the team at Southern Cross Uni, filmed on smartphones and sent through in 20 or 30 short clips to Simon that was then cut and edited into this. So here we go.
Hi, welcome to Southern Cross University. I'm Amy, Manager of University Events, and I wanted to give you a quick glimpse of our vibrant Lismore campus. We've got more than 25 different unique event spaces, and I'll show you around a few. Follow me. First up is our Kwandong room and breakout spaces, which have capacity for up to 200 people. This fun and functional space is perfect for hosting a variety of events, from workshops to dinners and everything in between. And the views aren't bad either. Next, I want to show you our Whitebrook Theatre. This space features tiered auditorium-style seating, inbuilt AV equipment and support, and has capacity for more than 500 people. This space is perfect for hosting award nights, theatre productions, and conferences. And last but not least, our deck and lounge bar. This space is fun, flexible, and has a beautiful outlook, not to mention fabulous on-site catering. Here in Lismore, we're so lucky to be surrounded by the beauty of nature every day, with koalas, rock wallabies and other wildlife sighted on campus all the time. So we're looking forward to hosting you for your next event. Get in touch to see how we can help you.
So that there was the delightful Amy Cool from Southern Cross University, cut down to just 1 minute and 12 seconds. It's short enough to maintain attention. It's friendly and conversational. There's little touches of humour in there, but it's quite obviously not top line production. and we believe that will personalize and add a personalized touch to the production. So we're certainly encouraging people to construct their videos that way. So so that's Southern Cross Uni. The second thing that we did was to, and by we I mean Simon and Stacey Baker, put together a how-to guide, which I'm hoping you will have seen. I'll just jump quickly into that as well, and show you. Again, this is something as you go through the filming phase that I hope you will all keep close by, because it's certainly worth looking at. I've now seen it probably 10 or 15 times, and I keep spotting new things that I may have missed in there. So really, really handy stuff. So here we go.
So here I'm too small in the frame. The camera is too far away. And this framing, the camera is too close. And this is good framing. The bottom of the frame is about at my waist, and the top of the frame about a hand height above my head. Even better, if I'm off centre, it creates a space for other points of interest. Careful about too much room up at the top of the frame. This is weird. And watch out for this too. Positioning your phone vertically might be okay for some things, but for most uses, and for what we're doing, it's going to look like this. So before you start recording, position your phone horizontally, and then your image will look like this.
So this is an example of backlighting, which is something we definitely want to avoid. Now, if we can't move our light, then we can just move ourselves.
Without cleaning the lens, I look a bit smeary. Cleaning your lens is the easiest way to get the best image quality you can. This image might look okay to you, but the room is actually pretty dark, and the camera is compensating, it's brightening the image, but that introduces this graininess, which is not very nice. If we turn the lights on, then that helps the camera to perform better, and we'll get a way better image.
Be aware of unwanted or loud sounds that might get in the way of your dialogue. You can avoid them, you can eliminate them, or if you can't do those things, you can just speak a bit louder.
Screen side cameras are handy, but they're not as good quality as the main rear side camera. Even if you did have a selfie stick, it's best to have someone as a dedicated camera operator, so you can just focus on presenting.
So make sure you use both hands when you're shooting to make sure you get a really stable image.
Panning the camera is great, but often a bit too fast. Generally, you need to move a bit slower than you'd think. The same goes for tilt up and down. Make sure you get a good variety of shot types for your video too. We need signage, wide shots of environments. Action is always good, just make sure it looks natural. And don't forget the details with close-ups. You can even try and shoot the same thing in a few different ways. While you're talking about yourself and your business, you'll also want to talk about things you'd like to show, such as amazing venues, exciting facilities, and interesting details. Here's what we'll do with those things in the edit. While you're talking about yourself and your business, you'll also want to talk about things you'd like to show, such as amazing venues, exciting facilities, and interesting details. We may even combine your different takes to make the final video.
To get from one shot to another, sometimes we can use camera tricks. Hey Simon, what do you think of this lens blocking trick? Cheers!
Cheers, Stace. Yeah, that's a cool one. Just make sure you've got the lens totally blocked. Hey Stace, what about the whip pan?
Yeah, that's an easy one. You just have to move the camera really fast to get a good amount of motion blur. When you're finished shooting, transfer all your clips to your computer. Just avoid using email to send clips to your computer, as it can often compress the size of the file to make it faster to send, but that reduces the quality of the video clips. Refer to your phone's manufacturer for the most direct way to transfer your files. Once they're on the computer, you can view them and revise file names to label what each clip contains. That way, we can use the correct footage over your dialogue.
And finally, it's time to upload your files to us for editing. From the link sent to your email, select your files and send. And if you've forgotten anything, you can always use the same link again to send more. So that's it.
Good luck. And cheers to recovery. Love it.
Absolutely love it. It is incredibly helpful. I'm stop share. Thanks, Simon, for that.
No worries. That's fun to do.
Oh, g'day, guys. You snuck in there. Good to see you, Matt. And is
Matt.
it Peter?
So,
Oh, sorry, can't hear you.
Mel and Matt here from Byron Distillery.
G'day, Mel. Good to see you. Good to see you, Matt. Thank you.
Hi, Matt.
Thanks for joining us. So we'll be sending out a recording of this anyway, so you can catch up on anything you might have missed. But it's really pretty straightforward. We don't want anyone to be too intimidated by this process. It's designed to be simple, friendly, and easy to handle. And I know you guys in distilleries take yourselves very seriously, but if you can just have a bit of fun this time, I think that'd be great. So all right, moving on. So those two components, I guess, provide you with a prototype and a how-to guide for the first part of this process, which is your virtual site inspection. We're going to try and cut it down to just over a minute. Have something really punchy that you can use in all different ways. Interestingly enough, I had a call from one of our venues in Ballina this morning, and they've decided to try a creative angle, which I actually think is pretty good. I haven't had a chance to run this by Simon yet, but basically what they're thinking of doing is filming a guest experience that covers all of the spots that they would like to present in their virtual site inspection, and then they're going to narrate the mental state of the person who's looking across. So the kind of the self-sales pitch that you sometimes do as a customer, and you see something and you don't say anything, but whoa, that's interesting. So that'll be quite an interesting one. But I think what they'll need to do is to take all of their footage, send it through. We'll have to do a cut and then send it back to them to narrate over the top of. Is that doable?
Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah. So one way or another, we might have to talk them through that. But by all means, feel free to be a little bit creative in your process. We really don't want everyone doing exactly the same thing either. It really does need to be fun.
I guess a good point to make there is that we don't want it to be competing with, something that you would do with, professional production. I guess the place for using smartphone footage is it's a good way to show authenticity and realism. So this being a really personal communication, the smartphone use is really appropriate. So that would be my only point to make there, is it shouldn't really be trying to be something that you would normally do with professional production company.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
right. We might have. Yeah, I get that. We might have a quick chat about that one and see how we might be able to help them.
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question, please? This video that we're creating, what's the plan? Where do we plan to use this kind of promotional material?
So basically, from the business events perspective, we would like to see you send it out with your any proposals that you're doing in the business event sector. We'll certainly use it on your behalf when we're representing your products, as long as it's appropriate. We certainly don't want to send a barrage of these to a client that might be looking at 20 different venues, but we will certainly use them that way. We're going to use them across our social media channels, and we'd like to see you do the same. So just share the message as much as you can. The idea is to keep the North Coast front of mind in terms of business events from our perspective, but if you want to broaden your usage of it, we certainly would be encouraging people to do that as well. Yeah. So the next one, those of you who know me will know how much of a cringe this one is for me. But the next piece that we're including in this process is the one that is specifically designed for social media. And Simon and Stacey alluded to it at the end of their how-to guide with the special Cheers to Recovery segment. So as part of the recovery process, Beck and I are putting together a recovery pack, and this piece here is designed to showcase the collaborative functionality of the North Coast. So we're putting together 6 specialised Cheers to Recovery. It is not a hard sales pitch at all. This is showing your people having fun. So in working with the Tweed, we had the call with the Tweed on Friday. We kind of, by we I mean I, spent a little bit of time putting together some classic dad jokes that people might be able to make about themselves. I would encourage each of you to take my dad jokes, in this case, with a grain of salt and make up your own. But I'll quickly scoot across and share screen again. Okay. So that's you guys there. Can you all see that? Should be a spreadsheet on your screen.
Yep.
Yep. So on the Tweed, we have 15 operators. We should be able to combine a few of them together in this Cheers to Recovery program. So the idea is to give each operator no more than 10 seconds. It's a really, really quick. Some of you will have seen these in TikToks and YouTube promotions where I particularly saw some with airlines. Airline staff would be relaxing in a couch, and then they would do that Cheers to Recovery block screen thing, and suddenly they're in their uniform holding their boarding passes and that kind of thing, and scooting between operators really, really quickly. This is designed to be punchy, fast, collaborative, and really fun. And to show that we're open for business across the North Coast. So the kinds of jokes that we had, anyone who's been to Halcyon House will know that their blue and white furniture there is absolutely famous. So Molly at Halcyon might be able to say something along the lines of, here on Cabarito, you can be the bling on our blue and white furniture, and she could be sitting comfortably in the furniture, and then she would throw with a, how do you feel about that, Cameron? So she could throw to Cameron Mills at the High Performance Surfing Centre, and he might say something along the lines of, if you've had a bad day, I bet you're craving a wave. And then one of his team or himself might be running down the beach with a surfboard under his arm, and you in that 10 seconds you would get that whole sense of throwing yourself into the surf, and that I guess you call it, it's the ASMR style, I guess. What we're trying to do in this is to create, is that the right terminology, Simon?
I don't know, is that the that oral sensory thing?
Yeah, but it's everything. It's getting in touch with your senses. So a case of Smith's chips, you know, you're hearing the crackly packet and the pop when it opens and the crunch when you bite it. That hopefully gives you that sense of the experience. And so all of these dad jokes are really designed to step away from the hard sell on your product and into just a little bit of fun that also shows that you know each other and that you collaborate with each other, that you're aware of each other, and that working together we are the strongest regional destination. I'm going to stop sharing screen before you read too many of those. But essentially, that's the idea: is to make up your own dad jokes, or hopefully much better, and maybe record 2 or 3. We will work collaboratively with you on this process, because you will be in a video sense, you will be interacting with person or the product before yourself and the product after yourselves in each of these. So it'll be, thanks Simon, cheers to Joan kind of process. So
yeah, so it's the region as a team,
yeah,
as a singular team.
so
And
it will be a Byron piece.
Yeah, and I guess another good point to make in that is that funny is great, but if that's not necessarily appropriate for you, it's more about showing personality. So,
Yes, thank you. Very diplomatic there, Simon.
I mean, as Heath was saying, it's not a sell piece. It's not a sales piece. It's personality. I mean, it's a classic social media content piece. So whatever that means to you and your brand.
Yes. So so that's really the second piece. You can certainly, and we would be encouraging everyone to do their filming of both at the same time, just to save themselves some time. But again, we believe the second one really is unlikely to take anyone more than about 30 minutes or so. The first one, Southern Cross Uni, the team there probably they filmed it in a team of two, so Amy and her filmographer. And it took them about 3 hours,
Yeah.
three and a half hours to make the footage. One of the things that they did, which we, I just can't encourage you enough to, they named their files carefully. So that'll do two things. It'll make Simon's life easy, but it'll also help you share with Simon potentially the order of files that you would like to see in the cut, and where your particular focus may be. So so please name the files very carefully. We can use some still imagery. Some people have talked about drone footage and things like that. I'm sure we could use a little bit of it, but we're kind of encouraging people to move away from that. Stick with your smartphone, stick with that up close and personal feel, because even if you do put a bit of drone footage in, it's likely to be a snippet of less than a couple of seconds in a final cut. But by all means, if that's what you've got, we're very conscious that a lot of venues that aren't open, for example, or don't have staffing at the moment, difficult to set rooms and set facilities. So certainly be creative. If you've got some footage that you would like to include in the cuts, by all means include that and name it in the files. The other thing is try not to email them. We will be sending out a file request via our Dropbox. So for example, Carmen, you'll get a file Dropbox invitation from us, and that's where you'll upload your files so that you can do them in full definition.
It's really simple. So it's actually a really neat system.
Yeah.
It's you don't need to have a Dropbox account. You just get the link, opens it up on the browser, and then chuck them in.
Yeah.
You can group them. You can collect up a whole bunch, throw them in, and off you go.
Yeah.
So Simon, we were saying before, we've got quite a fair few virtual tours that we've got at the resort already filmed. I am pretty sure that that's what I'm going to be told to use by DJ. So I can just do a bit of a talk over in terms of talking over the space and a bit about conferencing events rather than just the entire resort as an accommodation facility. Can I do that?
What's the quality of those?
Yeah, good. Very good. I can send you those to have a look at, but no, it's pretty good.
Are they shot on an iPhone?
No.
Yeah, so we with this one, you're not alone. There are a number of venues who have beautiful professional work done. The fear with those is that you can actually lose your audience fairly quickly when they realise that it is professionally shot and it's a marketing piece,
okay.
Rather than necessarily a direct sales piece. So with Amy, for example, she'll get an invitation to submit a proposal for a client. She'll embed her image in right at the top of her file. It'll be the YouTube image, so it's obvious to click on, and the client, when they receive it, gets Amy personally presenting to them. So that's why we've chosen to do it this way, and it is really for that authentic personal touch that we're looking at it. We looked at Wistia for this project as well. Wistia is a really good platform because you'll be able to track the clicks. And to give you a bit of an idea, how many clicks have we had on your how-to guide now?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
I can
have a quick look.
But it was quite high, I think, from memory. And needless to say, since we sent out the YouTube of Southern Cross Uni, it's our highest ranking YouTube video on Destination North Coast because everyone's had a quick glance at it. So I think we're probably up to 100 views already on that one now. Which, needless to say, if we all start to use these in that kind of way, then better minds than mine in the social media marketing world certainly understand that the more clicks like that you get, the better value you're getting from that kind of footage. So so Amy's had very, very good feedback already from hers.
Good.
So that's the idea. I am conscious, though, that you won't be alone in dealing with your management team around these kinds of things. In your case, Joan, just tell him that Mitch is going to do a great job at Byron. If he wants to operate in anywhere near the same quality marketplace, then
it does seem really counterintuitive. I must say,
I frightened him away.
You did.
It's funny, we're as you know, we're in the business of making those videos that are as professional as you can, and the quality is pretty incredible what you can get, and so it can really seem quite counterintuitive to say, well, we've got this stuff that's like amazing, we've like invested in this over here, but I'm going to do it on my iPhone. It's like a good way to think about it is like a video voicemail kind of approach. That's I'm talking to one person, and it's like a voicemail message.
Yeah. It's definitely not going to take away from the importance of those more professional pieces. So where this one might not be so aggressive in the branding section, I think it'll be stronger in the direct sales. And if with Simon's help we can demystify the whole process for everyone, then I've spoken to the marketing teams in some of our stakeholders who have said, we've been talking about doing this for ages. We're already on Instagram. We're already taking little shots here and there. But I think it can be intimidating to take it to this next level. So we're trying to demystify that for everyone as well, and with the end goal being more and more footage out there from all of our stakeholders, everyone together.
Are we looking at each footage around 1 to sort of 1 minute-ish?
It'll end up coming down to it'll end up coming down to that. I myself was put straight from a very early phase in the discussions about this. In my mind, because I've done site inspections at some of your venues that have taken 40 minutes, and we frankly needed it to see the whole property. So for you, Sam, it wouldn't be unusual to do a site inspection that would take half an hour or a bit more perhaps, because there's so much to show. But the longer it goes, the less compelling it is. So I ended up being pushed down to first of all 5 minutes and then down to 2 minutes, and then the Southern Cross Uni one came in at 1 minute 12 seconds, and it's short, it's punchy, it's solid. It does give you a sense of the space. Simon, I reckon you put that echo sound in the bigger rooms just to make them sound bigger. But 1 minute 12 seconds was, I mean, I hope I'm not speaking for everyone when I say I actually think that was more than enough to perhaps give you a taste. And then as you move on through the sales process, you can certainly look deeper.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it'd be like 112 to 130 absolute maximum. You can get a lot of info in that state.
Yeah,
You really can. You really can.
especially
What are
if
the
as
Do we have
sorry,
any times?
Sorry,
Anyone?
sorry.
What's the time frame?
Yes. So that was that's the final touch. So we are rolling it out now. So essentially, videos are starting to roll in. So we're encouraging everyone to take their footage over the next couple of weeks, or as soon as you can, and feed them through, because Simon and Stacey will have their work cut out with 50 stakeholders. If each of them's, sending through 20, 30 files, it's going to be a pretty mammoth task, and we're trying to have it ready and rolling by August. So that's basically a month. So it's going to be a case of first in, best dressed as well, I think, to a certain extent. We'll have to do that just by as they roll through. But I think for many operators, just scheduling it in over the next couple of weeks, you'll have to probably shift things around to get it done. So, but we're encouraging everyone to do it as quickly as you can over the next couple of weeks. If you have to push it out a little bit, let us know. The file request that we send, I think it has a 2-week lifespan. So if it expires, just get in contact with us and we'll extend it for you so that you can get it out.
Okay, and can we use anyone? I don't have to be the main hero, do I? I can't be being in front of the camera.
Another great question, Sam. Another great question.
Very shy.
Yes, and we don't want to take people too far out of their comfort zones, but frankly, we would love to see you. So please, please be in it a little bit at least, Sam, because it's your name that we see on the proposals that come out all the time. So this is about the people, really, in many respects, more than the square meterage of rooms and the finer detail of capacities. This is about the people. So you are iconic to Harvest, Sam, when we turn up there. So please be in it partially. Throw Tristan in. He doesn't seem that shy, so I'm sure he'd be more than happy to front the camera for a bit as well. But yeah, we'll try and include everything.
Yeah, but it can be a few people across the.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And don't forget that we'll be using as much overlay footage as you can get to us as well. So as we demonstrated, you might do all of your dialogue takes to camera, but you can be assured that a good probably 80% of your takes, as soon as you start talking about, and over here we've got such and such, we'll cut to that footage.
Sure.
So we'd love to see you, but we want to see the things you're talking about as well. Yeah, but that personality thing is such a pivotal part of this.
Of course, from a sales perspective.
Yeah. You want to develop those relationships with.
Well, is that I work with everyone pretty much on this screen, which is incredibly exciting. Is it more like a Harvest story, or do I also link everyone else in as well in those moments? Like I often have Sperry in the car park, or we have, other things off site, or is it more just completely driven to the actual location, as in just Harvest or just Byron at Byron, or just, how does that work?
Yeah, so the first piece, the one that is a designated site inspection, try to keep it as product centric as you can. But in your case, it would make perfect sense to include Carmen and the Sperry message because of the way that you utilize that partnership on site. So definitely collaborative referencing is really in your case, particularly very, very practical. And by all means, use it wherever you can. In Carmen's case, it might be that she's referencing multiple venues because that's part of that package. So, use relevance as much as you can. The second piece, though, is all about collaboration.
Sure. Can I ask on that question as well? Because same as with Sam, they'd have a picture of a spare tent down in the car park. We'd have one up at Heart of the Bay or one of our outdoor spaces. Yeah. If we refer to that, Simon, but you fill it in because Carmen's potentially got that imagery from a previous event, can we leave that to you to kind of bind all that together without the hand language?
Yeah, as long as it's included in your files.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Did you get that, Carmen?
So Simon, did you say that we could do, because for us we'd probably need to do some filming at our warehouse in Newrybar, but then could we, if we went and blah 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 different venues, could you put stills in, or do you want us to do a video at each?
The more video you can do, the better. But stills are okay because they're still pretty, grassrootsy. They're not like this big flash.
Excuse me, our stills are big and flash.
No, well, you know what I mean. Like when you use stills in a video, it's not really ideal. I know your stills are good, but
because
you know what I mean.
They must have got some good drone footage.
And in your case, Carmen, I think it'd be very difficult for you to go to all of your venues and reset them for the videos. So we'll use what you've got.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to put a Sperry up in the car park, darling, if you want.
I had that thought that we might be able to.
All good.
So does anyone else have any questions?
I think it's a good idea. I like the idea. Well done.
Well, I will be here to answer questions as they pop up for you. So by all means, keep me on speed dial through the process. If you need me to come and hold a camera because you're short-staffed or whatever, again, just let me know. I'll jump in the truck and be there for you. So by all means, you use me and Simon as well through that process. We'll continue to send communication on the file, particularly the files, and where you'll need to position them. But definitely open to any questions that may pop up. We'll also start sharing the completed ones as well with the network.
And
sorry, I might have missed this when I stepped away quickly before, mate. Timelines for when we're looking to roll this out.
Yeah, if you can knock the footage off in the next couple of weeks, we're going to try to get the completed files basically up and running and commence the social media campaign as of the 1st of August. So we've got about a month to get it done. So I don't know if you caught the footage should only take about 3 hours to complete. I know your rooms might not be set and challenges like that.
Hence the question. We'll see what we can do.
Fair question. So again, see what you can do. Don't go all out. You might be able to, like we were saying before, you might be able to overlay some still images of sets, just to give a different idea of the space. Are you still using that fabulous space out in the rainforest?
Yeah, we are, but it's all possibly changing. That's the thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So how relevant it'll be for then future sales pitches. I mean, it's not going to dramatically, we're not repositioning it, but it might just look a little bit different. Yeah.
I hope,
Can I ask one question there, please?
Yeah.
With SCA's filming, they've obviously shown normal capacities in their venues. Yep. Should we be talking about normal capacities, or should we be talking about COVID safe?
normal
Whatever.
capacities.
Normal? Okay.
Normal capacities. Everyone is trying to work back to normality. So the restrictions are part of everyone's conversation at the moment, but every day we're seeing adjustments as well. So there's really, I think there's no real value in restricting its usage to just a couple of weeks. But to your point, Mitch, as well, I guess what we're trying to do here is to demystify the whole process, so that one of my biggest bugbears, I guess, when I was in hotels, was that some of the best sets that you would have at your venue, you got no clients there to see them. You really want your clients to see, the big set we did for Toyota or Ferrari or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
But they're
just
not.
swore, Heath.
Yes, I did, didn't I? To both of you. But the point is, you really do want to showcase some of that best case scenario. So if we can demystify that process, you'll be able to, Mitch, you and Claudia will be able to dash out when you've got a venue on, take 10 minutes worth of footage, just shooting it, and then once this process has been done, you'll be able to say to Simon, can we do a quick little update on this one?
Yeah, well, we've actually got some of that shot on iPhone. So yeah, that might be that'll probably be the best stopgap for us in lieu of not having events or having things set up. Yeah, cool.
All right, excellent. So any other questions that spring to mind?
I just wanted to make a point on the Cheers to Recovery personality piece.
Yep.
That's I figure the site survey is a bit of a no-brainer. Everyone's extremely used to that. The Cheers to Recovery piece is probably the one that's most vague at the moment for everyone. We'll be sending through a bit of a prototype mock-up of that, so that you'll get a better idea of how that works, how it comes together, and the pace of that, because it's actually quite quick. It's not a big drawn out kind of thing. It's like this person and this person and this person. So yeah, you'll be getting that, and you'll need that information about who's throwing to you, and then who you're throwing to in the sequence of the whole thing. Yeah.
So we'll share that spreadsheet. Yeah. I'll probably avoid adding the dad jokes for you on this next round, but hopefully you got the idea of what we've got to do there. But yeah, I think 5 seconds, 10 seconds, absolute max for those ones. I think we did do some prototype work with that earlier on, and with the wrong directions from particularly from myself in the cycle, they ended up being 18 seconds long and completely missed the point. So we had to kind of go back to the drawing board to get them to work. To keep it non-hard sell is actually a challenge for some of us. So yeah.
And the idea is that it's quite action based as well. With the lens blocking trick and the whip pans, which will alternate. So, you'll either be doing a lens block in and a whip pan out, or vice versa. And with those elements to transition from one person to the next, and with seeing the different locations and what people are doing within them, it'll end up being quite dynamic and really quite engaging. So. It'll be good, be fun.
Okay, well, if there's nothing more from everyone for the meantime, I'll let you all get back to your day. Thank you all for jumping on, and we'll certainly be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eve.
Simon, can you stay on for a sec, Simon? I just want to have a quick chat.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Good to see you all. All right. Now, did you just want to have a quick chat with Simon alone?
Well, I'm happy for you both to hear it. It's just a thought that I had with regards to our little